Have you ever felt like you're constantly fighting life? Every situation feels like a battle, every person a challenge, and no matter how hard you try, things don't seem to go your way. We all face the struggle. We feel like we need to control everything around us. But what if the true path to peace and freedom lies in letting go, in accepting what you cannot change? Today, we'll talk about how the power of acceptance can unlock a new sense of strength and peace in your life. The idea of acceptance comes from an ancient philosophy called Stoicism. It's a way of life that teaches us how to handle the challenges we face by learning to accept what we cannot control. In Stoicism, there's a concept called the dichotomy of control. The Stoics believe there are two types of things in life: things that are within our control and things that are outside our control. What we can control is our thoughts, actions, and responses. Everything else, we need to accept as it is. This idea doesn't just give you peace. It also empowers you to focus your energy on what really matters. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus, the struggle of control. Think about it for a second. How often do you try to control the world around you? We make plans, set expectations, and try to micromanage everything in our lives. Maybe it's your job, your relationships, or even how others perceive you. We feel like if we don't have everything under control, things will spiral out of hand. But in trying to control every outcome, we often end up feeling frustrated, stressed, and anxious. The problem is, the more you try to control what's outside your control, the more you actually lose control. Take traffic, for example. You have a meeting scheduled, and you're running late. You're stuck in a traffic jam. What happens? You feel yourself getting angry, anxious, and maybe even blaming other drivers. But the truth is, no matter how much you want to control the traffic, you can't. The more you fight it, the more stressed you become. And this is where we get into trouble. We're constantly trying to control things that are impossible to control. But this fight against life itself leads to frustration. There's a better way. The freedom in letting go. What if the solution isn't controlling things, but letting go? What if, instead of trying to bend life to our will, we accepted it as it is? Stoics believe that true freedom comes from the ability to let go of the need to control the uncontrollable. How letting go brings peace. When we stop struggling against the uncontrollable, we open ourselves up to peace. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of resistance. By accepting what we cannot change, we stop fighting with life. We stop the inner battle that wears us down. We start embracing life as it is, with all of its imperfections. Take Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors. He faced continuous war, political strife, and personal challenges. Yet, he accepted that he couldn't control everything happening in his empire. He couldn't control the actions of others or the outcomes of battles. Instead, he focused on controlling his own reactions, attitudes, and behavior. Marcus understood that acceptance is the key to freedom. Freedom from frustration, freedom from anxiety, and freedom from the need for perfection. Acceptance isn't about being passive or weak. It's about being strong enough to surrender to what you can't change and powerful enough to focus on what you can. When you let go of your attachment to specific outcomes, you open up space for peace, clarity, and the ability to thrive, regardless of what's happening around you. Acceptance as strength. Dive deeper into how acceptance is a sign of inner strength. You might think that accepting life as it is means weakness, but in truth, it's one of the strongest things you can do. It requires a tremendous amount of courage to stop resisting what life throws at you and embrace it fully. It's a sign of emotional maturity and wisdom to accept that we cannot control everything, and to focus instead on our own growth, no matter what happens. Imagine you're faced with an unexpected challenge. Maybe you lose your job, or you face a difficult personal setback. Your first reaction might be panic or anger, but the Stoic response would be to pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? The answer will often be your own actions, thoughts, and mindset. By accepting the challenge as part of life, you gain the strength to handle it better and move forward. For example, I once had a setback in a project I was working on. At first, I felt helpless, frustrated, and anxious. But when I embraced the idea of acceptance, I focused on what I could do. I adjusted my approach, found new solutions, and moved forward. By accepting that setbacks happen and can't always be controlled, I gained the strength to overcome them. Take a good, hard look at the things that scare you. They're likely things you can't control, and that's okay. Acceptance is a gateway to real strength. Marcus Aurelius. Practical application. Now that we explore the power of acceptance, how do we make it a part of our everyday lives? Here are some practical ways to start embracing the power of acceptance and incorporating it into your daily routine. Identify what you can and cannot control. Start by making a clear distinction between the things you can control and the things you cannot. You can control your thoughts, reactions, and decisions. You can't control other people's actions, the weather, or certain external circumstances. By identifying these differences, you free yourself from the burden of trying to control everything. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a powerful tool in acceptance. When life doesn't go as planned, take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, what part of this can I control? And what part do I need to let go of? Mindfulness helps you stay present and avoid spiraling into frustration. Journaling. Start a journaling habit where you reflect on your day. What moments made you feel frustrated? Can you pinpoint areas where you try to control things outside your power? Write down how you can accept those situations next time. This practice will help you gain clarity and shift your mindset over time. Shift your expectations. We often feel frustrated when life doesn't meet our expectations. The key is to lower your expectations about what you can control. Life is unpredictable, and the more you can accept the unexpected, the less you'll feel disappointed. Cultivate an open mindset where you can embrace the unknown. Focus on gratitude. Gratitude can shift your focus from frustration to acceptance. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I be thankful for in this situation? It might not seem obvious at first, but with practice, gratitude can help you see life's challenges from a different perspective. Now, I want to ask you to reflect for a moment. What's one area in your life where you've been struggling to control something that's beyond your power? Maybe it's a relationship, your career, or even the actions of others. What would happen if you let go of that need to control and accepted the situation for what it is? How could that change your peace of mind? Acceptance as strength. We often think that strength comes from forcing our will on the world around us, from being able to control every outcome and keep everything in line. But what if I told you that true strength is actually found in surrender? Acceptance is not about being weak or passive. It's about having the strength to let go of the need for control and instead focus on what's truly within our power, our response, our mindset, and our actions. Think about the difference between trying to control a situation and accepting it. When you try to control things outside of your reach, you exhaust yourself. But when you accept the situation as it is, you stop resisting, and that's where your real power lies. Acceptance doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you are using your energy in the right way, towards the things you can influence. Think of a tree in the wind. The tree doesn't try to fight the wind. It bends with it. It doesn't lose its strength by yielding to the wind. Instead, it preserves its energy, adapting to the forces around it. In the same way, when we accept situations we can't control, we bend and adapt without breaking. Acceptance is like bending in the wind instead of breaking under pressure. Acceptance is not submission. It is the power of knowing when to act, when to wait, and when to let go. Epictetus. The role of perspective. One of the key factors that makes acceptance so powerful is how it changes our perspective. When we view the world through the lens of control, we become frustrated and anxious. But when we shift our perspective and view life as something we can respond to, not something to dominate, we create the space for peace. Perspective is like a lens through which we see the world. If your lens is focused only on control and certainty, everything will look like a battle. But if your lens is focused on what you can control, your mindset and your actions, then you'll begin to see the beauty and the flow of life, even amidst uncertainty. For example, when I faced situations that I couldn't change, whether it was a difficult challenge or a disappointing outcome, by adjusting my perspective, I found peace. I started to view the experience not as a failure, but as an opportunity to grow. That shift helped me not only accept the situation, but thrive in it. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about perspective. He said that the events that happen to us are not inherently good or bad. It is our reaction to them that defines their impact. The moment we change our perspective from resistance to acceptance, we start seeing life from a place of empowerment instead of frustration. Ask yourself, how can you adjust your perspective today to accept something you've been fighting against? Instead of seeing it as an obstacle, view it as a challenge you can grow from. The daily practice of acceptance isn't something you do just once and then forget about. It's a daily practice, something you must commit to every day to truly integrate into your life. The more you practice acceptance, the easier it becomes to let go of control and focus on what truly matters. Start each day with a simple affirmation. Today, I will accept the things I cannot control and focus on what I can. This might seem small, but it sets the tone for your entire day. You're reminding yourself that acceptance is your intention for the day ahead. Throughout the day, take moments to pause and check in with yourself. If something happens that triggers frustration or anxiety, stop and breathe. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? If not, how can I respond with acceptance instead of resistance? At the end of each day, journal about moments where you practice acceptance. Did you notice a situation where you felt frustrated but chose to let go? How did that feel? Reflecting on your experiences helps reinforce the habit of acceptance and strengthens your inner peace over time. The freedom found in. Imagine what your life would feel like if you didn't feel the need to control every little thing around you. Think about the peace and freedom you'd experience. The truth is, the more we try to control things outside our reach, the more trapped we become in our own expectations and anxieties. But the moment we embrace acceptance, we free ourselves from that constant struggle. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes when we stop letting external circumstances control our emotional state. When you accept life as it is, you free yourself from the anxiety of needing to make everything perfect. This isn't just about peace. It's about regaining the freedom to live fully, without constantly battling against life. Think of a person trying to hold on to a rope that's attached to a moving train. The harder they grip, the more they get dragged and hurt. But the moment they let go, they're no longer being dragged. They can walk on their own path. Acceptance is like letting go of the rope and walking freely, no longer bound by forces outside your control. The greatest freedom is to be able to live with joy and peace, without being controlled by things outside of your power. Epictetus. The impact on relationships. Acceptance isn't just something that helps us find peace with ourselves. It can also transform our relationships. Think about the people in your life. How often do we try to control them? We want them to behave a certain way, think a certain way, or act according to our expectations. But when we try to control others, it often leads to conflict and frustration. I've had moments in relationships where I felt frustrated because things weren't going the way I wanted them to. But when I accepted that I couldn't control another person's actions, I felt a sense of relief. Acceptance allowed me to love and respect people for who they are, not for who I wanted them to be. Think about a relationship where you might be struggling. Is it because you're trying to control the other person? What would happen if you accepted them as they are, without trying to change them? Acceptance can create deeper understanding and stronger connections. The mental shift. Acceptance doesn't come naturally to us. It's not something we're born with. It's a mental shift that we must practice. Our natural instinct is to resist what we can't control. But the true freedom comes when we recognize that our thoughts are what shape our experiences. If we change how we think, we change how we feel. Think of the last time you were upset over something you couldn't control. What was your first reaction? Were you angry? Frustrated? What would happen if, instead of fighting against it, you accepted the situation with a peaceful mindset? The mental shift starts there. Acceptance begins in our thoughts. Today, I challenge you to catch yourself when you're about to resist something. Ask yourself, can I control this? If not, how can I accept it? It might not happen overnight, but over time, you will notice a massive change in how you react to challenges. The Stoic practice of journaling. One of the best ways to reinforce acceptance is through journaling. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, use journaling to reflect on their experiences, gain clarity, and remind themselves of their core principles. By writing down your thoughts and reflections, you can develop a deeper understanding of how your mind works and how you can shift from resistance to acceptance. Start by writing down the challenges you face each day. Reflect on your reactions. Did you resist or accept? What could you do differently tomorrow? Over time, you'll begin to notice patterns in your thinking, and you'll gain more control over your mindset. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Journaling is your space to live by these words, to examine your thoughts, and to practice acceptance in a tangible way. Acceptance in the face of adversity. Acceptance doesn't mean avoiding challenges or being passive in the face of adversity. It means facing the hardship with resilience. Life will throw obstacles your way. This is inevitable. What makes the difference is how you approach them. Take Nelson Mandela, for example. He spent 27 years in prison, yet he embraced his circumstances with acceptance. He didn't resist the prison walls. Instead, he focused on maintaining his inner peace, his principles, and his sense of purpose. This allowed him to rise above the pain of his situation and transform himself into a powerful force for change. When adversity strikes, ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? How can I accept this challenge while staying true to my values and peace of mind? Acceptance in relationships. One of the most powerful applications of acceptance is in our relationships. How many times have we tried to change someone, whether it was a partner, family member, or a friend? We often expect others to behave the way we think they should. But acceptance teaches us that people are not here to meet our expectations. They are here to live their own lives. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what is in our control, our own actions and reactions. We cannot control others. But by accepting them for who they are, without judgment or the need to change them, we free ourselves from unnecessary tension and frustration. Think about someone in your life who frustrates you. What would it feel like to accept them, flaws and all? To see them as they are, without trying to mold them into what you think they should be? Imagine how much less stress you'd carry, and how much richer your relationship could be. The concept of amor fati. One of the most profound Stoic concepts is amor fati, which translates to love of fate. It means not only accepting life as it is, but loving it, including all the struggles, failures, and obstacles. It's about finding beauty and purpose in everything that happens to us. When we embrace amor fati, we shift from mere acceptance to embracing every experience, even the difficult ones, as part of our journey. Imagine viewing every challenge as an opportunity for growth, and every setback as a chance to strengthen your character. This perspective changes everything. Consider the famous Stoic philosopher Seneca. He lived through exile, financial ruin, and personal tragedy, yet he wrote about embracing each hardship as a gift. He didn't just accept life's difficulties. He celebrated them as opportunities to grow stronger. The role of self-compassion. Acceptance is not just about accepting the world around us. It's also about accepting ourselves, flaws and all. Self-compassion is a key component of Stoic philosophy. It involves being kind to ourselves when we make mistakes or face difficulties, rather than criticizing or judging ourselves. Why self-compassion is necessary for acceptance. Without self-compassion, we can easily become our own worst enemies. We beat ourselves up over things we cannot change. But when we practice acceptance of who we are right now, we create space for growth and improvement. We stop resisting our flaws and start working with them. Next time you make a mistake, instead of criticizing yourself, try saying, "This is part of my journey. I will learn from this and move forward." This simple shift can transform your relationship with yourself and speed up your growth. The paradox of control. There's a paradox in life that says the more we try to control things, the less control we actually have. It's like trying to hold on to water. It slips through your fingers. The more tightly we grip, the more we lose. But when we relax and let go, we find that we are actually in control of the things that matter most: our mindset, our actions, and our responses. Think of a sailor navigating a ship through a storm. The sailor can't control the storm, but they can adjust the sails, steer the ship, and maintain calm. In life, we can't control every storm, but we can control how we navigate through it. Acceptance and freedom from anxiety. One of the greatest gifts of acceptance is its ability to free us from anxiety. Anxiety often comes from fearing the unknown or worrying about things we can't control. But when we accept that uncertainty is a part of life, we can let go of fear. Imagine you're in a boat in the middle of a storm. If you keep fighting the waves, you'll wear yourself out. But if you accept the storm as part of the journey, you can focus on steering the boat and staying safe. The storm may still rage around you, but your inner peace remains unshaken. How acceptance changes your life. When we embrace acceptance, we no longer feel powerless in the face of challenges. We become empowered by our ability to choose how we respond. Acceptance is a key to resilience, inner peace, and true freedom. Every time you practice acceptance, you take one step closer to the life you want to live. Not a life without challenges, but a life where you have the strength to face those challenges with grace and wisdom. Why you must learn to be alone. We are taught to fear being alone, but the Stoics knew solitude is sacred. In the quiet, you find who you really are, not who people expect, not what the world has shaped. Alone, you meet your soul. No noise, no masks, just truth. A man who learns to enjoy his own company becomes unbreakable. He is not lonely, he is aligned. Alone is not empty, it is full of peace. The world owes you nothing. The world never promised you comfort, fairness, or success. And yet, so many suffer because they expect these things. The Stoic lives without expectations. He walks into life like a warrior, not a beggar. When you let go of what you think you're owed, life starts to feel like a gift. You see blessings instead of burdens. You rise above setbacks because you never expected the world to make it easy. You will die one day. Let that set you free. Memento mori. Remember death. Not to fear it, but to fuel your life. Knowing your time is limited gives you clarity. It removes drama, ego, and distraction. Why fear death? It's the most natural thing. But fearing it makes you die before your time. The Stoic reminds himself daily, I will die. Not to fall into despair, but to awaken. No one can hurt you without your permission. Pain is real, but suffering, that's your choice. People will insult, reject, ignore, but how you let it shape you is on you. The Stoic is untouchable, not because he doesn't feel, but because he doesn't react from emotion. He stands in storms with stillness. Pain is the greatest teacher. No book, no mentor. No lecture can teach you what pain can. Pain humbles you, refines you, strips away illusions. Stoics do not seek pain, but they do not run from it. They face it, learn from it, grow through it. Your scars tell your story. Wear them like armor, not shame. Let go of what you can't control. You control your mind, nothing else. Not the weather, not people, not the outcome, just your reaction. The Stoic learns to release. He focuses where he has power, within. Everything else is accepted, not resisted. The power of saying less. In a world of noise, silence is rare. But the Stoic knows silence is strength. Say less, observe more. Respond, don't react. Let your actions speak. Let your presence be felt without shouting. Everything you run from will chase you. Fear grows in shadows. The more you avoid it, the stronger it becomes. The Stoic faces what others flee. Run from pain, it becomes your prison. Face it, it becomes your teacher. Life is suffering, but that's not a bad thing. Human, but when you resist it, it consumes you. When you accept it, it transforms you. The Stoic doesn't chase comfort. He chooses strength. He grows through what others avoid. Be unshakable in a world that breaks. Chaos outside is normal, but chaos inside is a choice. The Stoic is calm in a storm, not because the storm is gone, but because he is grounded. This world will test you, break you, but you get to choose, crumble or rise.